We are live.
Hello,
Welcome,
everyone.
everybody. Yeah. See some people rolling in here. Making sure it's all set up still. Here we go. Okay. Well, as everyone joins, would love to know where you're calling in from. I am in Memphis, Tennessee, and joining me across the world, we have Nikita. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Warsaw, Poland.
Warsaw, Poland. So truly halfway around the globe.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, as you're jumping in, put in where you're calling in from. That's part of the fun is, with these remote events, we can have people from anywhere. So, hey, Kat, we got Serbia. Loving it. I've been to Poland, but I've not been to Serbia. Cool. Well, we'll give everybody just another minute here to roll in. Hey, Max.
Hey, Max.
Okay. How's the weather in Poland right now?
Oh, it's cold, Winter is here.
Yeah.
Snow, no sun, like Poland and Warsaw.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Hey,
we're
Nikita.
we're we're getting ready to get some colds here, but we don't usually get too much snow, so hopefully it'll be there. Let's see, we got Makita calling in, got somebody in Latvia, Gunners, hello. Okay. Well, we got a good chunk of people here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Nikita Hrishko from our team on PandaDoc. He is going to be talking about revamping the observability stack at PandaDoc, something that is clearly over my head and hard for me to say. But Nikita, take it away.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. This is Nikita. I'm a software engineer from PandaDoc, and I'm right now broadcasting on your screens. And today I'll be discussing our journey of refining our observability stack. I will take you through the reasons that led us to these changes, provide an overview of our previous stack, and explain the motivations behind seeking improvements. We'll dive into the various vendors we considered and experimented with in our prototypes. I'll share insights into the adoption process of our new stack. And of course, in the end, we'll reflect on the outcomes of our decisions along with our future plans. So let's explore this journey together. And why did we decide to revamp our observability stack in the first place? And you might think that we did it just for the fun of it, or because we are tech nerds, or simply because it's another tech task in our platform development backlog. Unfortunately, the reasons behind it were very different. And in the first quarter of this year, we encountered several critical incidents that acted as, let's say, as a wake-up call. And alongside other engineers, I participated in resolving these incidents and witnessed firsthand that our observability stack, unfortunately, was outdated, and I don't like to say it, but not really well maintained. Its inefficiency during incidents led us to prolonged resolution times, and it proved less than ideal for development, resulting in missed bugs during testing. And to add to all of these challenges, our legacy stack was not really cost effective, especially considering the problems we faced with it. But before we delve into these details, into our journey, let's establish a common understanding of the pillars of the observability. And typically, we have like three of them: logs, metrics, and traces. And responsibilities of each pillar are somewhat evident from their names. But what is really crucial is the ability to combine these three pillars to gain a relatively complete view of a system. Even more crucial is the synergy between your infrastructure and application levels. For example, you might have a top-notch infrastructure, but lack logs, metrics, or traces from the application. Or, for example, your applications could be fully equipped with traces, yet your infrastructure might be in the Stone Age and know nothing about traces. So keep in mind that the pillars and all levels should aim for maximum compatibility and interdependence. Okay, our legacy stack. And our journey began with a close examination of it, aiming to understand the aspects that needed improvement. And we started from logs. And we previously employed a rather standard solution common in the industry for many companies, the EFK stack. But unfortunately, we limited its use to logs only, missing the additional potential such as what Kibana could offer. And also this turned out to be the most costly component of our stack, primarily due to the expenses associated with Elasticsearch, and of course, because of substantial volume of logs we generated. What about metrics? Once again, we opted to the, I would say, conventional approach, the Prometheus ecosystem and Grafana for visualization. But this is typically the most critical aspect of any observability stack at any company, because metrics, aren't just for creating fancy visualizations. They play a crucial role in the functions like setting alerts or defining service level objectives. And unfortunately for us, this turned out to be, I would say, the most problematic part of our stack, partly due to, our engineering and misconfiguration. For instance, we implemented Trickster as a proxy cache for querying, but it was unfortunately poorly configured, leading to prolonged queries and even timeouts during the execution. And instead of providing assistance, it ended up making the situation even worse. And traces. If I'm not wrong, nearly 3 years ago, we introduced a distributed tracing with Jaeger. And initially, it worked seamlessly, offering our engineers a clean picture of communication between our services. However, over time, it became the second problematic part, as it was nearly neglected in terms of maintenance, resulting in the loss of more than 60% of all traces. And believe me, it was not because of some kind of sampling strategy. And this component turned out to be highly unreliable. And also, it evolved into the second most expensive component of our stack, primarily due to the use of Elasticsearch. Moreover, on the application level, we were using deprecated open tracing libraries, resulting in broken chain of traces. And we lacked guarantees that tracing data would consistently appear in the log records. And without this consistency, creating a seamless integration between logs and traces became nearly impossible. And that was our legacy stack, or if to say, more correctly, our three separate stacks we had to maintain and keep up to date. Our three distinct query languages, each tied to a different pillar, adding complexity to the learning curve for our engineers. Our three various user interfaces, one with Kibana, one with Jaeger, and one with Grafana, resulting in a lack of seamless transition from logs to traces, from traces to logs, from metrics to traces, and so on. And all of this proven to be neither effective nor productive. So what did we decide to improve from everything we discussed? First and foremost, we agreed on the key aspect of our work. Our goals was to implement a single pane of glass, a unified user interface for observability. We aimed to achieve a seamless integration among logs, metrics, and traces. And our aim was not just to enhance logs, metrics, and traces, but also to introduce a stack that we can expand upon the future, On the application level, we aim to provide easy-to-use application SDKs for our two main stacks, Java and Python. And we also aimed to provide shared dashboards with all like generic core metrics inside, like resources utilization, memory consumption, container restart, request processing, like everything you may think about. And of course, our new stack should be cost efficient. We made sure to consider how we could measure the positive and negative impact of our changes would have on the company. And we opted to focus on three key metrics. Mean time to recover and detect, which could indicate the use of our stack in a production environment, and change failure rate, which serves as a good indicator of observability stack effectiveness in the development and its ability to help our engineers to catch any bugs during development. And also, we decided to be close to our engineers and carefully listen to their thoughts and their feedback, because our engineers are our customers, and they should be really happy to use this new fancy tech stuff. And finally, we set a rather strict timeline and deadlines. We allocated a month for prototyping in March. Starting in April, we allocated 3 months for the implementation of infrastructure and application SDKs. 3 following months, starting in July, we dedicated to the widespread adoption of the new stack across the company, including the upgrade of more than 300 Kubernetes deployments across 4 our main Kubernetes clusters. And as a result, by early October, our new stack had been fully adopted across all services in the company, and new procedures like fire drills arise across the company. So let's talk about how we did it. And of course, we started with the market research and prototypes. In the beginning, we considered 4 main options for us for our research and our prototypes: PandaDoc, New Relic, and Grafana Cloud and open source solution. And you might wonder, ask me questions like, why didn't you consider vendor XYZ, ABC, or any other? And you may not like my answer, but I will give you with the 2 key reasons. Firstly, we had time constraints. We didn't have all the time in the universe. And secondly, we choose options which we were already familiar from our past experiences. And experiences, especially in the production environment and in the observability scene, is crucial because it enables us to evaluate solutions from various perspectives. But the more time we invested in exploring our options, the clearer it became evident that we aimed to bring evolution rather than revolution. For instance, we were really impressed by what PandaDoc had to offer. However, we reached to the conclusion that while it's indeed one of the best all-in-one solutions on the market, many of its components differ significantly from what we were familiar with in our company. For example, their approach to working with logs or libraries we need to use in our application to instrument everything. And we found that the cost of adoption, both technically and theoretically, were beyond what we could offer, what we could afford. And after careful consideration, we concluded that in general, we only have one viable option, an open source solution by Grafana Labs. Why? We were not prepared to commit to any cloud vendor. As in most cases, it tends to be too expensive. Also, we already had experience with the Grafana stack, and a portion of it was already in use within our infrastructure. And in addition to all of that, Grafana really offers everything we need: a unified user interface, seamless integration between various components, and relatively similar query languages. And worth to mention that we were inspired by the fact that in most cases, Grafana components can leverage AWS S3 as long-term storage. That is really a cost-effective thing. Also, looking into the Grafana components, we saw that Mimir is almost a drop-in replacement for Prometheus, Tempa a drop-in replacement for Jaeger. But when we looked into Loki, when we looked into this beast, we saw that it's a very different thing in comparison to the Elasticsearch and experience we learned over the years working with Kibana. And to be honest with all of you, it was the most questionable change we decided to introduce. And it was the most hateful thing by our engineers at the beginning. But we made a bet, and we were not mistaken. And here we are. This is our LGTM, our new stack, and it's time to jump into implementation. What you see on your screens is a high-level overview of the LGTM stack with its key components, and everything is quite simple. Agent collects telemetry data from various parts of application, Mimir stores metrics, Loki stores logs, Tempa stores traces, and Grafana itself provides a visualization layer to query it all. But here I want to point your attention to the agent part, because the agent is, in my opinion, is the heart of the LGTM stack, and it can help you in various scenarios. For example, in our case, agent helped us with our migration from Jaeger to Tempa. We configured it in a way that for some time it worked as a fake Jaeger collector, and it helped us to migrate to Tempa without any disruption on our services. And now we switched it to another mod, and now it serves as OTLP collector for all our traces. Also, agent helped us to eliminate our fleet of various Prometheus expert servers. And this is really great thing because folks from Grafana Labs did a really great job by putting all popular exporters for databases, caches, statsd into the agent and providing the configuration levels on top of them. But be careful and don't try to spin up, I would say, an all-in-one agent instances. It's simply not really reliable and creates a single point of failure in your observability stack. Spin up a few of them with different roles. For example, you may have one for traces collection and another for logs collection. Simple approach, but really reliable and stable. But let's put aside the spin-up process of all required components because, of course, it's a hard task, but not really hard. But what is hard? It's hard to inspire your engineers to use new stack. Sometimes it's hard to answer questions like, okay, folks, why I, as an engineer, should use new yet another observability stack? And such questions were not a surprise for us because platform teams always face them when they try to adopt literally anything at company level. And we were prepared, and we, I would say, exploded with the new features our engineers can use to improve their day-to-day work, their day-to-day development. What we did, we introduced a single pane of glass, one Grafana instance to rule them all with all various data sources inside. And now I, as an engineer, need to remember only one single URL with all observability inside. And today we have more than 30, of course, not that many still, various data sources, and not only ones from the Grafana stack. And I have to say that from what we see, our engineers simply fell in love with this approach, and they started to ask us, okay, can you add CloudWatch data source? Redis data source or data source for some Postgres database. So it's a really useful thing. Next, we introduced a seamless integration between logs and traces. And now I, as an engineer, can just in one click jump from my logs to my traces. And I no longer need to copy trace ID from one user interface to another and pray that I did it all right and in the right place. The same thing we did with integration from traces to logs. And again, I, as an engineer, can jump just in one click. No any copy-paste approach. Of course, thanks to Grafana, we gave our engineers a split view, a view that helps to explore different data sources just on one screen. And again, I, as an engineer, no longer need to care, for example, about time ranges in different user interfaces. I no longer need to jump between different tabs in my browsers. It saves a lot of time and prevents from stupid mistakes. Talking about more like technical features, I would love to mention two which Tempo provided. The first one is called span metrics, and this is quite simple yet powerful idea. Imagine your application, your backend service, is fully instrumented with traces on the different layers, your transport, your databases, your external calls. So why not generate metrics from ingested data? And Tempa can do it for you, providing base metrics, counter, and histogram with distribution. But what does this mean for me as an engineer? For me as an engineer, this means that I can get relatively full insights of my application without putting extra metrics. And I can develop traces-centric application and simplify my code base, putting metrics aside and putting some additional metrics context out of my head, which is great as well. And the second cool feature is called exemplars. And it's really hard to describe, but I will try. Let's say one exemplar is a representation of a specific trace taken in a given time interval. I know, again, it's hard to understand from the first look, but for me as an engineer, this means that I can jump from my metrics to a specific trace just in one click. And exemplars stand as an addition to the seamless integration between logs, metrics, and traces, like a cherry on pie, if we can say that. And also, we provided a bunch of dashboards for our engineers. Our dashboards right now cover all our aspects of our services out of the box, providing quite a full understanding of what is going on with a particular service or with the whole system. And one interesting thing I love to note here is that we started to use, thanks to Grafana, of course, we started to use different data sources in our dashboards. For example, right now on one dashboard, we can have metrics, logs, alerts, even traces. And this simple idea makes our dashboards even, let's say, full in terms of provided data and in terms of visibility of what's going on with your services. But let's circle back a bit to our pillars of observability. At the beginning, I mentioned that infrastructure and application levels should play together. And it's true, because most of the features I described during the previous slides can work on a 100% proper without support of the application level. So let's put a few words on about it. What we did. First of all, we introduced OpenTelemetry SDK for all our backend services. And we decided to simplify day-to-day work of our engineers by providing drop-in instrumentations for all popular libraries we use at PandaDoc. For example, in Python, we have instrumentation for IHTTP, Celery, Confluent Kafka, consumers and producers, Django, requests, and of course, for our internal micro framework. And what is great is that everything is unified and battle tested, resulting in a level of traceability and unlocks features like metrics generator and exemplars. The next thing we did, 33 lines of code, we ensured that we have all required tracing context in any of our log records. Without that, you can't have seamless integration between logs and traces. And that can be easily achieved, for example, with MDC context in Java or using struct log processors in Python. Nothing complex again, but the thing you need to care about and not to forget. And here we are, infrastructure ready, application SDKs ready, and now it's time for adoption and knowledge sharing. This is what we did on knowledge topic. We established an observability guild. It's simply a Slack channel, a safe space where our engineers may ask any questions they have on observability topics. We also provided an extensive video course with all the key aspects of our new stack inside. And we tried our best participating in incidents. And this is maybe one of the most important things because you can not only help your engineers navigate through the new stack, but also you can see what to improve, or for example, what is working not as expected. This is what we did on the adoption topic. Happily for us, we have an internal service catalog called Backpack. It's a similar thing to Backstage or Cortex. But what is great about our system, we have ratings inside. And this helps our engineers to understand what is missing in their services and how to fix it. It also helps platform engineers with the rollout of features like the new observability stack. And right now on your screens, you can see an example of such gate with rating. And this gate tells that service isn't really compatible with OpenTelemetry SDK and provides quick insights about how to fix it. And also we provided quite simple instructions and guides about how to upgrade your services. And if you are going to do something similar, you should stick to the simple approaches like bump your libraries, fix incompatible changes, test your application, and ship it. Try to avoid big changes because it may take a lot of time for your engineers to upgrade. And here we are, our last part, our outcomes. So we managed to revamp our observability stack in 4 months of platform development and 3 months of adoption on the company level. We also managed to cut our cost in half, of course, mostly because we just dropped Elasticsearch. And what I'm proud to say about, and I'm proud to share with you, is that we received a lot of positive feedback from our engineer, and this is really inspiring scene for any platform engineer. But talking about metrics, we also improved them. For example, our change failure rate dropped by almost a half, and we improved our uptime. It was not so great, and we even touched some time below 3 nines, but now it's way better. For example, last time we had 100 uptime. Of course, it's not only because of our new stack, this collaborative work on different layers, on different levels of development. Still, we believe that our new observability stack help a lot our engineers in their day-to-day battles. And we don't want to stop on the results we got. And for example, right now we are working to bring tracing to the front-end side thanks to Grafana Faro. And this is all from my side for today. Thank you for attention, and it's time for your questions. So, what we have?
Always the mute
Molly, I
button.
can hear you.
Any questions for
Oh,
Nikita?
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of good info in there. Assumingly, it was all pretty clear. No questions so far.
Thank you, Katia. So, any questions? I'm here to ask or to answer all of them.
We'll give everyone a few more minutes. I mean, look, no questions. To me, that means you had a bunch of good info and it was all really clear, but we'll hang on for just a few. Anything else, any final words you want to tell them about what we did?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah. All good, all good. Well, I'll give it 2 more minutes. If you have any questions, want to pick Nikita's brain about this or something similar.
Yeah, I can even try to answer like deep tech questions if you have any, because I touched. Oh, okay.
There we go.
What was your way to prioritize this very internal change within product backlog? How you convinced that this is necessary for the team? So, as I mentioned, almost a year ago in the first quarter, we had incidents, and we realized that this is not, we can't live with our observability stack anymore in the same way. And on the company level, we decided that we need to change it. And it was a company-wide initiative with support of engineering manager, with support with C-level management. And we aligned on the deadlines like, okay, company is able to help you to adapt this thing, but you need to be ready at some period of time. Like almost in the beginning of the summer, we were ready with infrastructure, with application level, and we started adoption on the company level. So it was like a big initiative on the company level to improve our uptime.
Cool. We got a few more questions rolling in. Why did it take so long to implement?
Hey, Kirill, it's nice to see you. I have a question for you. Why do you think that it took so long time? Please elaborate. We can like discuss it, because I think we did it in a pretty fast way. Imagine how to like in almost one shot upgrade all the infrastructure, all the services across the company. It's not an easy task, and it takes time.
Fair enough. Let's see. Igor says, share the magnitude of money you saved with these changes.
We cut it by half. Unfortunately, because of the NDA and all the stuff, I can't share with you exact numbers.
Half is big, though.
Yeah.
That's a big percent. Yeah. Let's see. Dimitri says, if you had a chance to redesign observability one more time, what would you change?
What I would change? Good question. A really good question. Honestly to say, right now, I'm pretty happy with this thing. Of course, I, as an engineer and as tech nerd, would love to try different solutions and maybe introduce a Datadog for the company, but it's not really wise in terms of adoption and money we can potentially spend on another solution. So right now, I'm pretty happy with the decisions we made.
Good. Confidence. I like that. You got that question from Dennis.
And do you provide different layers of monitoring dashboards for different consumers, like a detailed one for developers and a very high level one for the L1 support? If so, how they are connected? We do not have different dashboards for different levels because we think it's how to say, give me some time, please. We built it in a different way. For example, we have a starting point, like a high-level overview of the whole system with the core components on it, like how our databases behave, how our RabbitMQ or Kafka behave, or what is going on with our schema registry or our end-to-end health checks. Looking into this dashboard, you can jump into a detailed view of the particular service. For example, resources utilization and different request processing at different levels, like in Celery, in Kafka, in HTTP. From this, you can jump deeper for the Kubernetes internals. And this is how we build it, like in a chain when you can go deep down hole. So I hope I somehow describe it for you. Could you please share any difficulties to keep in mind during the migration to the new stack? The thing I decided not to share with you is how to switch from old legacy or from old stack to a new one. For example, you may have addresses like Kibana PandaDoc.com, Jaeger PandaDoc.com, and now you have Grafana PandaDoc.com. And you need somehow to switch people to this place. And what we did, we configured redirects, and we set quite strict deadlines that, okay, guys, we still have legacy stack, but you will have it for 2 or 3 weeks. And after that, we will stop it. And also difficulties on the application level, because as I mentioned, you can't introduce a lot of backward and compatible changes because it may require engineers to rewrite the application. You should try to introduce as minimal changes as you can. And happily for us, we control almost all aspects of services intercommunication. We control libraries for monitoring we use in our services. And we can change internally almost all aspects without affecting our services and our engineers.
Looks like those are all the questions we have right now. Thank you. Well, I think everyone got all the info they needed. If there's any last questions, pop them in real quick. But otherwise, Nikita, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with our whole community. It sounds like people learned a whole lot of good. And we thank y'all for joining. So everybody have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.